Welcome, everyone, to Blue and Blur. My name is Mark.
And I'm RJ, and we're here to talk about the trials and tribulations of the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens.
Absolutely. Well, the tribulations sure have been piling up this year. I watched the last game with Montreal. They played a little bit better. They won, but it wasn't exactly, a commanding win. Even though the scores reflected that Montreal played very good. Personally, I don't know if it's a mixture of they played very, very well and the Mammoth played poorly. Maybe it's a mix of both. But for one thing's for sure is Dobes stood on his head.
Well, similar for the Leafs, they played Columbus the week before and lost at home, so they went into Columbus. They had some players back, Matthews, etc., so they were a better roster. But what really happened was Joseph Wall finally provided the kind of goaltending that you need to win in this league. And probably one of the best performances of the year in the net for the Leafs. And he, you could say, almost stole that game. And so here the Leafs now look forward to going into the weekend. They'll be playing Washington here on a Friday night. And then they will go to Pittsburgh on Saturday. So they've got Ovechkin Friday, Crosby Saturday, Pittsburgh's vaunted power play that's leading the league right now. And Ovechkin's just started heating up too. He's got, I think he just got his 11th goal, and so yet again the old guy's on target for a 40-goal season right now if he keeps that pace. So Leafs have got their hands full.
And Pittsburgh's been playing very, very well. They're 11-6 and 5 OTs right now. So definitely it's going to be a challenge for both Montreal and Toronto this weekend because Montreal's playing. They're playing Vegas tonight, Friday night. Actually playing this afternoon, 3 o'clock, I believe, 3 or 4 o'clock. And then they're playing Colorado tomorrow night. And Colorado, I think, is the number one team in the league right now. I think they're pretty much standing
by far and away, they're the number one team right now. They're head and shoulder. You could.
They're 39 points right now. And
Dallas is on their tail.
Yeah, Dallas is at 34 points right behind them.
Colorado's clearly they've got the best forward in the game right now in McKinnon. They got the best defenseman, obviously, in Cale Makar. They are firing on all cylinders, and all the metrics. Colorado's up at the top, or one of the they're in the top 5 this category, that category. So all in all, Colorado is right now head and shoulders above the rest of the league.
Yeah, definitely a rough weekend for both teams.
Yeah, the Leafs are going to have a hard time with Washington and Pittsburgh. Washington's just started to play. Not only is Ovechkin, well, it probably goes hat in hand. He's heated up, and Washington, who've also been down at the bottom with the Leafs, have done a breakaway and are starting to move back up into the wild cards. And the Penguins, I think their power play is running at about 30%. So the Leafs better try to stay out of the box in that one.
Yeah, definitely. And from what I've read so far, Vegas is doing really good. They're 8th in the league right now. So it's 2 tough matches for Montreal coming up. From what I heard, Montembeau's getting a start tonight for against Vegas, and then Dobes will be playing tomorrow night against Dallas, which makes sense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Wall will do one of the games, maybe Hildeby. We've still got Stollarts out, so I don't think they'll go back to back, especially after Wall's play. I think he played the last 2 games, so not sure what the goaltending situation will be with the Leafs, but it's paramount that they get good goaltending because they're deep place, not doing well, and a lot of the reasons why they're down at the bottom. Perhaps we'll let's take a look at how the season's been going.
And speaking of the season so far, well, the Canadiens, there's lots to talk about. They started the season really, really strong. They were unbeatable. They were really? Like a vibrant team, very fast, very rapid. They were scoring. They were moving that puck all over the place. And then injuries started happening, and then Montreal lost 5 in a row. They've won a couple and tied a couple along the way, but they just went on a downfall. And I think a lot of that's to blame with injuries, but it was also some of the matchups they played with. They played against Dallas, which is a very strong team, and lost, and they played against Washington, which is another strong team, and lost. But when we're talking about injuries for Montreal. We're talking there's like 4. There's 4 right now on the ESPN site. Kirby Doc, Alex Newhook, Patrick Laine, of course, and Caden Goulet. Caden Goulet, I'm surprised he's he had a surgery. So okay, so he just had a recent surgery. From what we're reading on the ESPN, he just had a recent surgery. So he's out for another 8 to 10 weeks. There's nothing going on there. So the injury troubles have not stopped for Montreal. what about the Leafs?
Well, similar to the Leafs, have had injury problems all year this year. A lot of man games lost. They presently have their number one defenseman, Morgan Riley fans, but Chris Tanev's out. Their number one goalie, Stolarz, is out. Although you could argue that Wall and Stolarz are 1A and 1B. And Brandon Carlo's out, although he's not played well at all this year. So having Brandon Carlo out might be a plus. I mean, he's performed okay on the penalty kill, but in his pairings, he's been all his metrics are pretty much all negative. So that's not good for the Leafs. Otherwise, conversely to what Montreal's had a bit of a tougher schedule going in so far this year. The Leafs that's another troubling thing for the Leafs. They've actually played a lot of non-playoff teams so far this year, so they've got some tougher, as like witness this weekend with the Capitals and Penguins. Leafs are going to be facing a lot more tougher competition going forward. But the big problem with the Leafs has been the goaltending. Has been really subpar, minus percentage-wise, like 870s, 860s. And so with Wall coming in, hopefully that can turn around. And the defensive play has been horrible. Leafs are down at the bottom in goals against. They're in the bottom 5. And actually, goals for, Marnerless Leafs are still in they were number 5. I think right now they're 6 or 7. So.
For what? For in the standings?
For goals for.
Oh, for goals for. Yeah.
So they're not missing Marner.
Right. Well, that's the other thing I was talking to you about.
Yeah, they're number 8 right now in goals for.
You don't think Marner leaving is affected at all their performance?
No, when hockey fans, Leaf fans get on their app and they see that the Leafs are down at the bottom of the standings, a lot of them are, we expected trouble because Mitch Marner's not here. I can tell you right now, it's got nothing to do with Mitch Marner. If they had Mitch Marner on the team right now, it would probably be maybe one win. He'd be worth about one win, so it'd still be. It's a logjam, and no one needs to panic yet. All you do is put 4 wins together, and you go from 13th to 5th in the conference. So, but Marner's no. I will stand by that. They've actually performed offensively. It's just the defense, like guys like. Max Domi, he's a defensive liability, but because of injuries, he's had to play a lot of minutes. He's been doing second line work.
Yeah, I disagree. I have to stop you there. I disagree. I think Marner not being in the lineup, especially at the beginning of the season when Matthews was also not in the lineup, Nyes was not in the lineup. You had a lot of injuries. I think that affected it. And Marner not being on the team, like it or not, he was a goal scorer. He did win games for Toronto.
Well, I'm going to disagree back because I'm going to tell you Marner was a penalty killer for the Leafs last year, and the Leafs penalty killing this year is actually a couple of percentage points higher than it was last year. So the penalty killing is doing the same job it always did. The power play sucked last year with Marner on it. We've always had that power play problem where we can't seem to fix it, despite the fact of having all these $11 million, $12 million hockey players. Marner's not burning it up in Vegas. He's doing fine. He's got like 21 points or something, 4 goals, 17 assists. I don't know. I'm not an analytics guy. I just know that last year that I read a thing where it was Marner was worth 4 wins. That was where he was valued. So we played 1 quarter of the season. If he's worth 4 wins a year, that's 1 win. That's why I said 1 win. I'm going by what those bean counters say. I just look at the team, and they're scoring. So if Marner was here, instead of being 8th in scoring, they'd be 4th in scoring. It's the defense that's the problem. The defense, and the goaltending. The pairs aren't working. They're not working together. The goaltending. I don't think the defense and the goaltenders are cheating each other. The defense isn't trusting the goalie. The goalie isn't trusting the pairs in front of them. Lack of trust creates panic. They move around. They're breaking down. And there's a lot of breakdowns in their own on their own end zone. So
yeah, personally,
Marner would not make a difference.
I disagree. I think he would. I think he's.
So you're saying the Leafs would be in like?
Well, they wouldn't be below 500. Are they still below 500? Go click on the.
Well, he said that. I said 1 win. They'd have 1 win, 1 more win because of Marner.
Just scroll down there, right there in the standings.
Yeah, right. So
they're at 500, 550 right now. Yeah, okay. So they're only the Buffalo Sabres. Throw that up on the screen there, Neil, please.
Producer Neil.
Is it? It's up there. Okay, good. Yeah, producer Neil. So what is that? 500? I can't read that exactly. It's exactly 500.
500.
Yeah, so they're exactly 500 right now. So, and that just happened because they won on Wednesday. So
I don't. Marner's.
they'd definitely be over 500.
Well, you have one more win. You're backhandedly have worked yourself into agreeing with me that they'd be worth one more win. Marner's Marner's got 4 goals this year. You throw that 4 goals on the Leafs, you got to think that 3 of those goals are coming into games where it's already 6-2, and the Marner makes it 6-3, or hopefully for the Leafs, it's 5-2. Marner scores, makes it 6-2. Like out of his 4 goals he scored this year, how many would be game changers?
He has been a game changer in the past.
Nylander and Tavares are way above their not way above. Well, Tavares maybe a little could go into the way above category. Nylander and Tavares are producing way more. Well, the facts speak for themselves.
Nylander and Tavares had to perform because Matthews was gone.
The Leafs have more. The Leafs have more goals this year than they had last year with Marner. So it's easy for. This is how the management in Toronto gets away with things. Thinking, well, Marner went to Vegas. He wanted to go. They blame Marner. They blame his agent. They say, well, Marner deserted us, and look, we're going to have to struggle this year. That's not true. They got $11 million sitting off their cap because Marner left. What they do with it? They signed Dakota Joshua, the kid out of Utah, and I don't remember the third guy they signed at this moment. Why don't I remember him? You know why I don't remember him? Because he's probably not that good.
Right.
They wasted the $11 million. Dakota Joshua, tough guy. You know, you want him on your team in the playoffs maybe, but right now in the regular season, he's skating around like he's got snowshoes on, and it's probably because he's trying to fit in or something. He's really struggling. He said so himself, and so they didn't position the $11 million better. So the roster's poorly constructed. We'll get into that. I can assure you we will be getting into that.
Yeah, and on the Montreal note, we started the season super strong, and then it petered out. When everybody was healthy on the team, Montreal was unbeatable. The injuries happened. We already said that. So now... doesn't look like these injuries are coming back anytime soon. They signed guys like Tessier. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup even tonight. But who do they pull out? Because they brought up Florian Jacki.
Yeah.
And Florian Jacki so far has been, a pretty good impact on the team. And so they also brought Ekstrom up, defenseman.
Yep, correct.
They
brought in Carrier. Or was it Carrier?
No,
Well, he just brought in Tessier.
Right. Yeah, Tessier. They just signed him. So I mean, is that going to be a game changer for Montreal? I don't know. We'll find out tonight and tomorrow when they're playing against these stronger teams. So,
but let me ask you a question. I mean, you have the third best goalie in Canada as your starter, Montembeault. Number 3 on the Olympic depth chart. Why are you not doing better with your goaltending?
Oh well, we don't have a first. Like a number 1 goalie. That's the thing. He's number 3 in Canada, but
I don't think he'll be number 3.
He's not number 1 in my heart.
He's worked his way out of a job. I think. I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be on the going to. He's got to really have a great December if he's going to get the call to go to the Olympics.
My opinion right now is Montreal does not have a number 1 goalie. They've got 2 number 2 goalies. Dovich has got the potential to be a number 1 goalie because he's still very young and he's still learning.
Right.
Montembeault was at the age that if he's not a number 1 goalie already, he won't be. He'll just end up being a career second goalie, which is fine by any means.
In Toronto speak, he's got the James Reimer look to me. He's gonna end up playing on 3 or 4 clubs as a backup. He looks like a very capable guy who can.
I think he's just too streaky. Montembeault, I think he's just too streaky. I think he's he'll play one game against a strong team and he'll stand on his head, and then he'll go play against a weaker team, and then he'll let in, six goals. So he reminds me of Red Light Rasico.
Oh, remember that old name? Yeah, there's another one. But I think that both these clubs, if they had better I mean, that's true of all the clubs probably at the bottom. If they had, everyone can say that if you had better goaltending. But I really do think the goaltending and has been a problem. Now with Montreal, I think it's out now. Goaltending with the Leafs, are the goaltenders bad, or is it really bad defense play in front of them?
I think it's both. I think
Stolarz has not been no guy he was last year. That's
right.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same problem's happening in Montreal, where We have several offensive defensemen in Montreal, where guys like Dobson and guys like Hudson, who are offensive defensemen. These guys pinch all the time.
Right.
And then you got your defensive defensemen like Matheson. Well, Matheson just does pinch once in a while. But Jack Guy and Struble and all them, they're like more of a defensive defenseman. Even Carrier is more of a defensive defenseman. But I think that a lot of these young guys, like I was watching Hudson. I mean, he's amazing to watch, but he does make some mistakes sometimes and coughs up the pucks, which causes him to have to streak back and back check and try and catch up the guy that he just, cuffed up the puck to. So the Montreal defense, I think, needs still some tweaking. They're getting some size finally in Montreal, which is good by getting in Florian Xhekaj and keeping Arbor Xhekaj in the lineup. I think that's a whole other discussion, of having an enforcer on your team and what that does to the morale of the team. But we could talk about that a little later.
Yeah. Well, with the Leafs, it just comes back to like the injuries. 10 of injuries bigger than a Matthews injury, in my opinion, because he was rock solid under defense last year, and he's him being out, and he'll be out for an extended time still with this concussion. So that's a big problem for the Leafs. The defense has been a real problem all around.
Is the coaching a problem right now in Toronto? Do you think Berube's job's on the line, or you think they're going to,
I think that they lost 5-6 games in a row. Had it gone on and turned into a 9 or 10 or 11 out of 12. I don't think Treliving's going to. I think he's looking at his the way he was with Calgary. He wrote it out with Sutter. I think Treliving's going to try to keep Berube around till the end of the year. Be a nice, let's say the Leafs don't make the playoffs. That'll be a nice way to settle down the pitchforks that are outside the arena. To throw Berube out the window. Because if he fires Berube now and it still goes bad with whatever interim he brings in, then Treliving might be the one, and still might be. I really think that there could be a problem all around. I mean, personally myself, I think Treliving's been a failure. We'll get more into that later on down the road. He's signed some really bad contracts. He's got really bad contracts on that team, and it's going to cost this team for a long time.
I think so. Anyways, tell us what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and you'll get all the updates on when all the new videos are coming out. Again, for Blue and Blur, I'm Mark.
I'm RJ. It's great talking to you.
Have a good day.